Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a Panzer IV Schmalturm. It's the Tier 6 German Premium Medium. It's located on the westbourne of Sand River and it's under the command of Picklefish44. Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a Panzer IV Schmalturm. It's a Tier 6 German Premium Medium. It's located on the westbourne of Sand River, and this one is under the command of Picklefish44. Game on. Well, this is an unusual tank because it's actually a Panzer IV hull, the Panzer IV Alpha J, but it's got a Panther turret. Yes, that's the Schmalturm turret, which actually comes from the Panther Aslains F. 75mm in caliber, and it's actually the KWK44 44-1 with the L70 barrels. So it's got quite a long barrel, as you can see, but it's a 75mm capable of 135 alpha and penetrating 150mm with the standard ammo, and with the premium rounds it'll go through 194mm. Now, what I say is unusual about it is that, well, this tank never actually got built, but it was proposed by the Germans. It's basically a Panzer IV hull with a Panzer V turret. Now, I know you say, well, we've seen one of those actually in the game, the Panzer IV. And yes, you'd be correct, but this is a different variety. As you can see, it's got Schussen on the side with the grille, not with the shields. So it's not fully in, it's not able to stop everything. It actually only stops the heat rounds. The initial Schussen were actually put on the side of the vehicles to stop the anti-tank rifles that the Soviets were using to take out the crew members, because of course they knew where the crew in the vehicles were. So all they had to do was aim for that spot, put a round in, and take out an individual crew member. But no, this actually was... Oh, he's tracked the T-34. And he gets another one in. No, the original... These shields, these Schussen were actually designed to stop the heat rounds that aimed at the sides of a Panzer IV. Now, what's unusual about the turret is, of course, it's a very heavy turret from the Panther. And so... they didn't think that the Panzer IV could actually carry this hull, carry this weight. And so it never got put into production, because otherwise the tank probably would have difficulty moving about. It's a very slow tank. Oh, and he's just been tracked. It's a slow tank, but it does have a great gun, great accuracy, and it's very powerful at penning. Well, the 42-57's out of the game. We're looking to the south. At the moment, this is a good position for him. He's actually in a position where he can affect the north and affect the south. But what he can't do is attack the enemy tanks that are down in the riverbed at the moment. Now, this tank was actually introduced to the game a long time ago. It used to be Tier 5. And tries a leading shot there on that AMX 12-ton. Oh, he did hit it there. 148, a high roll. And now he's got the death toaster. And I think he did hit it and track it. And now he's got the kill. Now, it was in the game at Tier 5. But Wargaming took it out of the game quite some time ago. When there was +3 or -3 on the matchmaking. So you could actually have Tier 5 tanks taking on Tier 8, and also you could get this tank taking on Tier 2 tanks as well. But of course they stopped doing that a while back, and they took this out of the game. Nice shot on the T1. This gun's got so good pen, it'll just go straight through the front of a T1, which is where his best armor is. They took it out of the game. Nice shot in the M10. and put it back into the game. It's a tier 6 premium later on. But then Wargaming have been known to take vehicles out, increase their capability, and then sell them as a premium vehicle. It is very slow, mainly down to the fact the hull and the engine isn't really capable. Doesn't have a huge amount of power, and so with that heavy turret, it's not easy for it to move about, and that's why it's very sluggish. He's trying to get a shot at that Cromwell, who just took out our Jackson. Can he get a shot? Oh, that was a nice snap, but he did get it. The Cromwell's pulled back, and I think he'll try and pull forward a bit to try and get shots. But we've got behind the bush to a certain extent. Not fully. And the enemy is now spotting us because obviously we got somebody very close. And oh, he took out that Cromwell with that Churchill with one shot. Okay, we're now trying to go for the Pz.Kpfw, and we're taking hits from him. Get another shot in. He's got a 75mm gun as well. And we're getting low on hit points. We need to kill this one. And he gets the kill. Oh, unfortunately, there was a Basotto. And he has a 105mm gun. And, oh, a bit jerky there. Yes, he unfortunately did get the kill shot and took us out of the game. So, what's the situation? Well, we're one down on the enemy. But we appear to have the enemy cap area. And we've got one capping at the moment, with the M1 protecting that person capping. Yeah, the T-3485M is protecting our cap, and the capper is actually a KV-1. The enemy's coming back to try and reset the Basotto, who killed us. And the T-3485 is going to have to motor now, otherwise he's going to get a reset. So he needs to get quickly into that Basotto, take him out. He's just coming over the rise now. He's firing on the move. You need to stop and get accurate shots. That's one. Oh, unfortunately, the Basotto got the reset. And the enemy's now capping at the other end. And the bad news for that is that we now have to get up the other end to get a reset, because we've got both of our tanks down this end, unless, of course, we can cap out down here. The problem is there's 3 enemy vehicles. There's only 2 on our team. So the enemy needs to get more tanks into the cap. Don't do that. You'll no, you won't reset, but you don't want to take on your own teammate there. He's definitely not going to get a high caliber, this guy, because he deliberately fired in his own teammate. It appears that the enemy does have their Arty somewhere nearby, because he's actually firing at the cap, trying to get a reset, but of course he doesn't know where we are in the cap, and it does look as if this one is going to go to a cap out. Yep, they've only got one left. In fact, actually, the M4A1 on the enemy team just crashed, which indicates he probably fell off the cliff or something like that. And that's it. We've capped out. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was an ace tanker game for Picklefish44 in the Pz.Kpfw 4 Ausrung Schmalturm. He also managed to get a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He did get 4 exactly, as well as a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, a 5 for effect for doing more damage than hit points to his own vehicle, and a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 7 in total. But he also got the highest damage in the game because he sat there in that position just blasting away at all the enemy he could see. And it really was quite effective because his win rate from that battle, 7,822, which is a very good score. Now, yes, he did go down, but the enemy had to put a lot of tanks against him in order to take him down. And in the end, yes, he did suffer. I think it was really down to that VK3001H, the fact that he does have a 75mm gun with similar capability, and he was putting quite a few shots into Picklefish towards the end of that game, which made it very difficult for him to survive. Anyway, if we look at team score, we can see he got 2,332 hit points of damage. The next highest player was the Basotto, who managed 1,742, followed by the T-3485M on our own team with 1,717. When it came to kills, it was also Picklefish with 4 kills. 2 kills went to the T-3485M, the KV-1, and to the Basotto, the Cromwell and the AMX 12-ton on the enemy team, plus their T1 Heavy. When it came to base XP, he's got that one as well. So he's got the top in all three columns. He got 1,166, and he's the only player to get over 1,000 base. 903 went to the T3485M. 578 went to the Fifi on the enemy team. So it's a big difference. These two players were playing the best. But of course, yeah, that T3485M at the end, don't shoot your own teammates. It's not a very good thing to do. Even though it won't actually cause a reset, it does stop you from actually getting a high caliber if you do that. Anyway, let's have a look at detail. 31 shots fired, 21 direct hits on the enemy, and 19 penetrations. You get 60 rounds of ammo in this thing, so he only just burned through half of his ammo, but he could have burned through a lot of premium ammo, and in fact, actually, he did. 2,332 hit points of damage, of which 1,293 were at more than 300 meters, so half his shots were at long range. He received 9 hits from the enemy, only 5 of which actually penetrated, but several of those came from that VK3001H, unfortunately. He also got 3 non-penetrations and 1 hit by way of splash, 250 hit points of damage blocked by armor. He spotted 1 enemy vehicle, damaged 9 of the enemy, killed 4, and did 821 hit points of damage assistance or spotting assist. He earned 63,368 credits from the game, 31,684 credits from personal reserve bonus, 95,051 altogether. But after repair and ammunition respawn, yes, remember that ammo cost was considerable, he actually ended up with only a small profit of 6,060 credits, 1,749 XP, times 2 for the first victory, 525 for this being a premium vehicle because it's a purchase one, so obviously you get a better premium bonus, and 874 from personal reserves bonus, took away 4,897 experience points altogether. Let's have a quick look at the armor and the modules for this one. This is the Panzer IV Schmalturm. You can see it's quite a tall turret, but this tank does have fairly good camo qualities. The turret armor is very strong indeed, but the hull is very weak. They had to weaken the armor because they had to try and reduce the weight somehow, otherwise the vehicle was not going to be able to move about very much at all. It's only got a 48 km/h top speed, the vehicle. You can see the front of the turret is very, very strong indeed, 120 millimeters effectively, because it's flat. You're only getting about the same from effective armor. The sides, though, are very well angled, and if a shell hits them, it's more than likely going to ricochet. Even though it's only 60 millimeters thick, it's so well angled, it's giving you 172 from the front, but from the sides, it's much easier to pen. So you can see this thing is vulnerable when it gets to the side. The upper plate is very thin. It's only 30 millimeters there, coming out at 42. The driver's area, 80 millimeters, coming out at 80 millimeters because it's flat. The front of the tank, 80 millimeters again. The lower plate is 30 millimeters, but angled back, so it's getting 44 in total. Sides of the vehicle, well, it's got those Schussen, but they're not designed to take out the anti-tank rifles. They're more designed to stop the heat rounds, as I was trying to say. And effectively, you've got a screen there of spaced armor, meaning that even though the size of the vehicle is only 30 millimeters, your effective armor is 50. So that's a little bit better. If somebody fires a heat round at you, it's less likely to do much in the way of damage. If you are firing at this thing over a ridgeline, go for the cupola, because top of the cupola is only 75 millimeters, so you should be able to get through that, well, 75 coming up to 157, but you probably won't get through, well, you might get through the armor at the front of the vehicle. But anyway, this is capable of working on a ridgeline because it has 8 degrees of depression. Rear of the vehicle is very vulnerable. Rear of the turret's only 60 millimeters. Engine deck is 12, so Arty will be able to pen it. And the rear of the engine the rear of the tank is 20 millimeters thick. So again, this thing is vulnerable from the sides and the rear. From the front, well, you could actually go for the driver's port. You could go for the angled piece here and probably get through because it's only 82. But I would say try and get the sides of the vehicle unless you've got decent pen, and then you can just fire it straight through the front of the vehicle. We have a quick look at the modules. Okay, there we go. It's basically Panzer IV down below on the hull and Panther in the turret. And we're looking at a driver on the right-hand side, the driver or radio operator on the left-hand side with the radio next door to him. Massive ammo racks inside the middle of the vehicle, right underneath the turret basket. And in the turret, we've got the gunner with the tank commander directly behind him. And on the other side is the loader feeding the shells into the breech. Engine at the rear, sandwiched between two fuel tanks. So, yes, there's plenty of places you can put a shell in to go through and hit the ammo rack. But remember, it's spaced armor all along here. So you just need enough pen to get through. And that's where all the modules are on this tank. I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.